All right, hello everybody. Yeah, today we will be going over a kind of fun stock. I have no idea, what I'm getting into, but because I don't know if this is undervalued, this is a growth stock or whatever. But yeah, today we're going over 456 Human Made. Um, Human Made was founded by Nigo. So if we just have a quick look at the company website, yeah, well, interesting. Yeah, so a bit about Human Made was founded by um, Nigo, and let's see if we can find Nigo in here somewhere. No, can't. Nigo-san. So Nigo-san is the guy on the right here. Nigo is synonymous with Bathing Ape. This was anyone who listens to hip hop or rap in the early 2000s, even rappers would wear Bathing Ape. This is really popular in Asia. There's stores in Hong Kong, in China, in Japan. But yeah, it started off in Japan. And Bathing Ape is known for a couple of things. They're known for their ape camel print, and they're also known for their shoes. They kind of ripped off the Nike Air Force Ones, and back then, like this was like a cool spin because the Air Force Ones are known for just being white on white. So he kind of added his own star and added patent leather, and it was kind of cool. Um, but then soon the hype for bathing it kind of died out in the late 2000s, and the next project for Nigo was this company called Human Made. Now, Human Made is again another clothing company. Let me see if I can find any of their just their clothes. Okay, so yeah, so it's another streetwear brand. So your basic t-shirts, sweaters, hats, denim jackets, probably some bomber jackets mixed in between. But yeah, with the human made logo. The thing about for me though is I don't really see much innovation. It's just I see it like okay, so the bathing ape is cool in that it's a monkey, right? It's a cool little monkey, um, very approachable. It's like Hello Kitty. It's approachable, right? But the difference between Hello Kitty is cute, and then the bathing ape was kind of like a cool print type of thing for people who are into hip hop. So, and then there's human made. So I immediately when I see like they have a couple of designs that are unique to human made, which is like the heart with the three dots on it. They have the duck. They also have like a polar bear and a tiger. Let's see here. If I can find it. So they do a lot of accessories, streetwear accessories. So yeah, it's a streetwear clothing brand essentially, and oh, there's a human made and undercover collab. I guess maybe the bear is from Undercover potentially. So yeah, so that's just a quick overview of like what the company does. Mainly does clothing, and I'll go over some of like the business economics of this in a bit if I see an opportunity. But before going into even the financial or the rest of investor relations, um, what we don't see from this, because this doesn't tell you much, is that Nigo is an OG in the streetwear, Japanese streetwear um, community, right? He's basically one of the OGs. He's heralded. He's like really well regarded, and he has really good industry connections. So, one person that he's working with was is Pharrell. Yeah, since the early 2000s, they've been really good friends. They also recently worked on an LV project together. So they had a collection where Nigo and Pharrell worked together on the collection, And I know that Human Made also did a LV and Human Made collab. There's such a thing as well. I know Human Made also collabs with Adidas and other streetwear brands. So essentially, Nigo has really good industry connections. This will be very helpful when it comes to doing special collections and collabing with other brands to come up with their own interpretation of things. So yeah. Okay, let's hop into the filings real quick. Oh, I see quite a few of you right now. There's 3 of you in there. Welcome, welcome. Feel free to engage in the chat. First thing I kind of want to look at is the business plan of the company. So the company only has Japanese filings. I didn't see any English filings. Actually, let me double check that. That might have been an oversight by me potentially. I did just look at the Japanese site. It'd be really hilarious if they have more English filings that I didn't notice. Okay, all. Oh, they do have one. Okay, that's great. Then I don't even have to. Okay. So let's see. So, human made, born from creative inspiration made with heart and humanity. We believe that creativity is a fundamental human value, and only when our minds move beyond calculating mere practicality and efficiency do we land upon truly new ideas. This is definitely translated from Japanese. So potentially in Japanese, this is way more impactful. In the spirit, we at Human Made fuse the latest culture of the streets with a deep reverence of the past to shape our global future. Okay. What Human Made envisions. Okay, we at Human Made nurture culture sparked by human inspiration and craft, aiming to grow it into Japan's next iconic creative industry following manga, anime, and games. Okay, very true. So, a couple of things that are really great exports from Japan. One is, of course, manga and anime, and of course, games like Sony's PlayStation, Nintendo. And one that's kind of hidden is Japanese streetwear. Well, those who are really into like streetwear will know of brands like Undercover, The Bathing Ape, Yoji Yamamoto, and all these other Japanese exclusive brands. Yeah, like North Face, Purple Label, right? People who are into streetwear, or even Japanese clothing in general, will have seen these brands before. Let's see. Okay, so they see that so luxury brands, craftsmanship, discretionary items exclusively to European royalty and nobility. So what they want to do is present and future diversified monetization channels, broad market, development of IP business model, systemization, industrialization, broad acceptance among global consumers equals emergence of prime conglomerates. Yeah, so the thing about streetwear is that it is very approachable to the masses because like even higher end, more expensive. Well, yeah, this T-shirt is 12,000 yen, which is $120 Canadian. USD, that's probably like $80. Let's see, how much are their normal T-shirts? Okay, 7,000. 7,800 Japanese yen, that's like $80 Canadian, or roughly like $50 USD. So yeah, they're selling like $50 t-shirts essentially. This jacket, $780, $500 USD. So it's still affordable to people who do want to spend a little more money. Like it's still approachable, but definitely on the pricier side. But I would imagine the margins on streetwear to be quite good. But the thing is, for me, I don't think I think the IP here hasn't been fully developed in terms of human made. I do think that the IP for Bathing Ape is stronger, uh, but I could be wrong. But the reason why human made has all this hype is because of Nigo, not because of just the brand itself. People who buy human made will know it because of the designer. Game contents, character IPs, creative of manga artists, illustrators, etc., specific fan base, development of IP merchandising business model, gaming platforms, broad acceptance among global consumers. Okay, so fashion, art, culture, creative of artists and creators, specific fan bases. That's very true. I think, yeah, specific fan bases. So like Bathing Ape used to be amongst streetwear goers or people who listen to rap. Not much people outside of that know of that brand. And then development of IP establishment, distribution channels, broad acceptance among global consumers. Trying to think of how they're even doing that right now. So Human Made has collaborated with companies like Adidas, so that would have a broad acceptance. I would also think that the design language that exhibit is pretty like neutral. Nothing is like too niche about the design. It's a heart shape, right? So it's I mean, it just says human made heart shape. So I guess it does target a more global audience. Um, okay, high profitability and growth potential in global markets. We aim for sustainable growth based on income structure that minimizes downside risk and high efficient foundation. Wow, so they have a 28% operating margin, 40% CAGR over the last 3 years. Interesting. One thing I'm curious about is that what happens when Nigo collaborates with a company like LV? Like, does the human made slash LV collab go into, like, does that collab go into Nigo's pocket, or will he purposely from now and forward, will he only exclusively have collaborations under the human made, right? Yeah, which means like this company's fate is completely rests on pretty much two people's shoulders. One is Nigo, and then one is Pharrell, right? Um, yeah. If Nigo decides like, hey, I'm kind of done with human made, I want to start my third brand in the future, this company's kind of toast. Um, yeah. So 9 million yen per square meter. Pretty impressive. Proper sell-through rate. Overseas sales ratio 64%, including inbound tourist sales in domestic stores. Wait, including inbound tourist sales in domestic stores. But how does that make sense? How do you determine if someone's a tourist or like a domestic customer though? CAGR and total number of overseas customers, 81%. Wow. Okay. Here's how many stores, because this is CAGR and sales could be completely like, uh, might look off because of how many stores that they've actually opened. Track record of strong growth and high profitability. Achieved consecutive sales and profit growth since our establishment while maintaining high profitability, efficiency, and financial soundness despite changes in marketing conditions, including exchange rate fluctuations. So one thing I noticed off the bat is that their pricing is really targeted towards, it's definitely on the higher side, right? So like you're selling a crew neck long sleeve shirt for $140 Canadian and roughly $100 USD. Like this is not something that can be easily afforded by like someone that lives in Japan off of like the Japanese minimum wage, but definitely for like a tourist that kind of wants to have a piece of Japanese streetwear in his collection, right? So the pricing in and of itself is very like targeted towards foreigners, in my opinion. So in 2016, the company was founded by Nigo and Yanagisawa, so that's probably a partner. There was an investment by Pharrell in 2018. Okay. So nothing to look at is the financial structure later. Operating profit margin started off at 20%, rose to 33%. Start establishment of organizational structure for expansion, started management team formation. Hatoyama, don't know who these people are. Formed board of directors and board of auditors. Sales increased. Oh, quite a bit. 3 billion yen. 3 billion yen is around $33 million, generating 6 million. Nigo stepped down as director, appointed as creative director. Okay. 28%. Now they're forecasting 13.7 billion yen of sales. 3.8. So generating 38 million. So they're forecasted to generate 38 million CAD of sales, and their current market cap is 81. So I don't know what their financial structure is like, but let's assume that that's the enterprise value as well. You're paying anywhere between 20 times, a little over 20 times actually. Okay. So definitely a lot of growth is being factored in here. Scaling business through direct sales and global markets. Direct-to-consumer channels continue to generate a large proportion of total sales, leading to a strong profit margins. We'll continue to increase our overseas sales ratio as we accelerate our globalization by launching stores and local e-commerce. Yeah, I'm pretty sure most people buy their products direct to consumer, and it's also based off of how streetwear is typically sold. The typical structure is they'll do limited edition drops that are only available in the store to get people to come to the store. E-commerce typically for these companies is used to showcase the collection, not exactly to sell through e-commerce means. So overseas sales, including inbound tourist sales. See, this is a bit misleading, right? Duty-free sales, that's why. Yeah, so, yeah, overseas wholesale, cross-border e-commerce. So, okay, e-commerce and then overseas wholesale. Cross-border e-commerce, so they probably sell their products in China, something like that, or Hong Kong. Yeah, I would not. Yeah, so this number is a little bit misleading. Our ratio of overseas sales reached 64% in fiscal year 2025, remains at a high level. Our overseas sales ratio remains at higher level and will continue to grow compared to other growing competitors in Japan. As an indication, so strong overseas demand, we plan to meet that demand with aggressive expansion overseas. Now, here's the thing. Here's where the business model could break down a little bit, from my understanding of how streetwear works. The If we look at, let me use the extreme case. So if you look at a company like Supreme, right? They are, their brand is not sold in, Vancouver and other first tier cities, right? It's in New York, it's in Japan, it's in these very exclusive areas where people have to show up in store to. Oh shit! I was not. My audio was not on this entire time. Holy crap! Wait one sec. Oh no, I might have been recording this entire time. My audio was not on. No one said anything. Wait, hold on. Let me double check the stream. Oh no. Let me double check my own stream. Jesus. Find it. So they do a lot of diversified monetization channels, broad market development of IP. Okay, I have okay. So good news. Okay, my audio was being recorded. I don't know how. How did that happen? Because I was looking in my Yeti and it was on mute for some reason, but then it's still recorded. I'm not sure how that happened, but yeah, it's still recorded. Okay, so we're good. Huh. Okay. That scared me for a second. Okay, where was I? Okay, so essentially, uh, streetwear brands are able to really uh, create artificial demand when they are in-store exclusives. When they have in-store exclusives, and then what they tend to do is they undercut demand with very limited supply. So what happens, right? When they do that, even if they sell a T-shirt for $50 because it's so limited and because so many people want it, that that T-shirt on an aftermarket can sell for four times that immediately on the day of. Can sell for double, three times, four times that amount, right? So the same business economics applies for human made. Human made is pretty much in direct to consumer type of operation, where most of the stores started off in Japan. So in order to get any human made product, right, if you are to show off to your streetwear wearing friends, and you had a trip to Japan, you would stop by the human made store, buy the merch, and then when you go back to Canada, USA, you show off what you've bought, right? So it has that aspect to it, right? Once you expand overseas, the the exclusivity actually takes a hit, right? And that's what's not being accounted for, is that idea, right? So it's kind of one of those interesting things where when they maintain a very low amount of store count or a very low amount of supply that is kind of like severely underserving demand, that's when the actual brand increases substantially in value. But once you bring supply up to meet demand to a certain level, then the business economics don't work as great as before. So, kind of what they need to do for this company is that I'm glad they're able to grow it to 13 billion in sales. But the thing is, if they're generating that much in sales, think about how many people actually can afford to have their product, right? So, um, yeah, how they actually structure the sales, how they structure the store openings is going to be very important and key in how they maintain the operating margin, right? So, yeah. Yeah, direct channel sales are 81%. Overseas is not 64%. So if we cut out 7.2 billion, this looks like in-store sales is like around 60% of this, so like 4.2, 4.2. So around 3 billion is from overseas sales. So it's 3 billion off of this amount 11. So 25 to, yeah, just like 30 to 33% roughly. So actually, overseas sales is not 64%. It's actually just 30 to 33%, right? And why do I think that's a better figure? Well, it's because if you start opening human-made stores in New York, in London, in Shanghai, in Vancouver, right, in LA, right, then the in-store sales, right, or will take a hit, right, in theory. Um, it might not. You might have Japan exclusive, right? But if you have certain offerings that are exactly the same from different stores in those locations, and you know where your customer base is coming from, then they no longer have to buy more inventory on their trip to Japan. You know, yeah. So let's see here. Our ratio of overseas sales reached 64% and remain at a high level. Our overseas sales ratio remains at a high level and will continue to grow compared to other growing competitors in Japan. As indications show strong overseas demand, we plan to meet that demand with aggressive expansion overseas. Yeah, so 37% of that was from duty-free store sales. Yeah, so yeah, so 27%. 27% was actual. Was yeah, that's right. 27% was actual overseas sales. So it's more like over here now. It's not even over here because I don't know if they were able to factor in duty-free store sales for fast retailing, Uniqlo, Asics, Sanrio, and all these other brands, right? Because you need to make an apples-to-apples comparison, right? If you do this to bring it up there, then that's not kind of fair. What they're trying to say is like, hey, because we have this demand in duty-free stores, when we open up stores overseas, that's going to be replicated the same way. Um, who knows? Who knows? This 63% CAGR is also a bit misleading. As like, of course, like over here you had like very few stores, right? And then after COVID hit, then you start opening more stores. Like, it's not it's not exactly the same comparison, right? Obviously, any company, any fashion brand, if it's backed by Nigo, once you go from 3 stores to 11 stores, it's like night and day difference, right? Um, but then yeah, from 1 store to 11 stores is gonna be easier. But to get from 11 stores to like 50 stores and then 50 stores to 100 stores, that's where the tough part is, right? And if we look at, let's see, how many stores does Bathing Ape have? Oh wow, holy crap! That I was not aware of. Huh. Okay, I was not aware of that. Okay, so they have potential to open 120 stores, I guess. Okay. Okay, I can be proven wrong. That is totally okay. Yeah. Yeah. This is also misleading in my opinion because if you have, I don't know how many stores. How many stores do they have? Actually, stores. How many stores do they have, buddy? I don't know how many stores they have. How many stores do they have? Okay, so they have 8 directly operated stores in Japan as of September 2025. They have wholesale partners. So, okay. So they only have 8 stores. Oh shit. Okay. Operates single brand stores that exclusively offer human made under franchise like agreements, current locations, Hong Kong, South Korea, and China. Okay. Wholesalers only conduct business with carefully selected wholesale to avoid damages to brand equity. That's very sure. That's very fair. So like they could listen like Holt Renfrew in Vancouver. Not actively increase wholesales beyond existing partners at present. Okay. Shibuya, Shibuya, Shibuya. They have 3 Shibuya stores. One in Osaka, one in Sapporo, one in Fukuoka, another one in Tokyo. So one, two, three, four, 4 stores in Tokyo. Oh, sales per person is gonna be super high because like typically these stores have like 2 or 3 people on staff, and because demand is typically quite high, um, yeah, people are okay with lining up to pay for things, right? It's yeah. Oh, interesting. Ray Matsunuma, tribe management and business operations. He's formerly worked at fast retailing, which is Uniqlo. Reihito Hatoyama, that was in one of the slide decks. Leading globalization of Hello Kitty and IP business. Okay, so this guy's good with working with IP. The thing is, currently human-made IP isn't that strong yet, in my opinion. It could be stronger. Interesting. Okay, so how does Pharrell come into this picture? So he's an advisor plus shareholder. So artist. Yeah, I know that. Oh, yes, he's an advisor. Okay, shareholder slash advisor. He also made a capital investment human. I wonder how many shares he actually owns. That's gonna be. Oh, Cause is also an advisor. Wow. So if you have Cause and Pharrell behind this, that is intense. And you have Verdi. Okay. I don't know who this guy is. This is the first time looking at this guy, but I know Cause for sure. Oh, wow. You have two juggernauts on your advisory panel. Which means it's going to be free marketing anytime, because they're shareholders, right? Which means that, oh, a potential shareholder holding stock acquisition rights, diluted securities. Okay, so this person has stock options. Hmm. Okay, let's go back real quick. So this is getting interesting. So 8 stores. They have no overseas stores yet. The overseas is just through e-commerce and carefully selected stores, essentially. Um, yeah, sales CAGR is mainly because they start with so few stores. This is not, yeah. Vertically integrated operations to control brand image and generate added value. We maintain our own brand IP and control our brand image through a vertically integrated business model in which product planning, design, sales, and attracting customers are all under control by us. Suppliers Japan 59%, 40% from China. Oh, interesting. Collaboration with iconic creators and global brands. Direct retail, direct e-commerce. Okay. Yeah, t-shirts are in between. Well, it was 7,800 yen to $120. The special collaboration ones are 120 bucks. The human made ones are 7,800. I guess hoodies are and sweaters are between 220 to 450. Denim jackets and down jackets between 260 to $1,500 CAD. Shirts. Interesting. Pants. Our main demographic is young men and women in their 20s and 30s, typically based in East Asia. That's pretty accurate, yeah. Because with the pricing that they're charging, primarily people who are working in working age can afford it. Yeah. The nice thing about streetwear is that it's kind of unisex in that like a girl can wear a baggy T-shirt, right? Streetwear is pretty popular and in Asia, and people like to wear baggy T-shirts and hoodies nowadays. So there's no problem with a girl wearing you know a hoodie that's designed for men. Yeah. 20s is 39%. 19 or younger is 1%. Yeah. 30s is 39%. So even mix between 20s and 30s. Hmm. Japan 30%, South Korea 25%. South Korea might be some e-commerce, cross-border e-commerce, but also traveling from South Korea to Japan is extraordinarily cheap. Um, Taiwan 17%, 8%, China. Yeah. Franchise-like agreements. Interesting. I would think that operating their own stores in these countries to be a better idea, but probably because of the language barrier and speed of execution, having a franchise-like agreement works better for them potentially. Yeah. So what's nice about this is that we see that sales per store per meter squared has increased dramatically. This can be for a couple of reasons. Um, One is demand has gone, is outpacing their current supply, which this definitely indicates. Second of all, it could increase like a good e-commerce strategy because if sales continuously go up from the e-commerce arm, then even with limited floor space, it just goes up, right? So this is a really good indicator. Yeah. A leading global yoga brand that has to be Lululemon. A leading Japanese multi-brand boutique. A leading Japanese global SPA retailer. This might be Uniqlo. Um, he's worked on for hotel category. How does that happen? Convenience store makes sense. Oh yeah, he was also behind Uniqlo UT. This was very smart of him. Yeah, yeah. So the T-shirt collabs that you see nowadays from Uniqlo, which include like Naruto, One Piece, sometimes just random brands like Canon, some bicycle brands, some automobile brands. Yeah, this was a great idea by him because typically when you find any fan type of T-shirt that's created, the T-shirt itself is of pretty poor quality. So Uniqlo kind of raised the quality level of the T-shirt while maintaining um, the design that we want from that brand. So Ken's a luxury brand by LVMH. collaboration. Yeah, Adidas collab, Nike collab, Montclair, and Mercedes Benz. Okay, yeah, this was definitely one. He does store concepts as well. Interesting. Yeah, so you have two pretty well known advisors, so Cause and Pharrell Williams. The nice thing about this is if they need to do some like advertising or being featured in like music videos, you have Pharrell. Um, Cause is just contemporary artist, so, very well known in the graffiti space. So we invest mainly in value of our products, causing them to win the acclaim of opinion leaders and generate worldwide buzz, leading to the creation of new demand. Yeah, so they know how to generate hype. In very simple terms, they know how to generate hype, which is fair. They have people in the space who are incentivized to create more hype, like Pharrell. Key opinion leader. Our products are loved by many celebrities around the world. We have not engaged them to perform any PR for us. Yeah, so when people like rappers, let's say celebrities, actors, athletic stars wear their brand, then it's like free influence for the company. I'm getting a knock on my door. Give me a sec.